If you're living with multiple sclerosis, I know you're always looking for ways to take back some control. Well, today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful tools you have, the food on your plate. Let's see how it all works.
So let's get right to it. This is the big question, right? When you're dealing with something like MS, you just want to know, what can I actually do to help myself? And when it comes to nutrition, the answer is a big, loud yes. Let me show you why.
At its very core, MS is about autoimmune inflammation. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Your body's security team gets a little confused, and it starts attacking the protective insulation around your nerves. And that's really the thing we want to address. And believe it or not, food can play a huge role in calming that whole situation down.
Okay, let's be super clear about one thing. We are not talking about a cure. There is no dietary cure for MS. But what we are talking about is control. Food is one of the most powerful things you have direct control over every single day to support your body, help manage that inflammation, and really nourish your nervous system.
All right, so our first mission, should you choose to accept it, is all about cooling that inflammatory fire. We're going to look at some foods that are just packed with compounds that are basically designed by nature to calm things down inside your body.
So where do we even begin? A fantastic place to start, the foundation really, is with extra virgin olive oil. And please, don't just think of this as a cooking oil. It's so much more. It's practically a medicinal food.
The source material actually calls it liquid gold, which I think is just perfect. It's the absolute cornerstone of a Mediterranean diet, which you've probably heard of. Researchers have linked that way of eating to better health for decades, especially for conditions driven by, you guessed it, inflammation.
So how does this liquid gold work its magic? Well, it has this amazing compound called oleocanthal, which basically acts like a natural, gentle anti-inflammatory. Plus, it's loaded with polyphenols. You can just think of those as bodyguards for your cells, protecting them from all kinds of damage. Okay, so from healthy plant fats, let's head over to the ocean for another powerhouse, wild-caught salmon. This fish is just an incredible source of some of the most essential fats you need to build and maintain a healthy nervous system. And this is where it gets really important for MS. Salmon is jam-packed with those famous omega-3s, EPA and DHA. Yeah, they're great at cooling inflammation, but they do something else. They are the literal building blocks for your nerve cell membranes. They help make them stronger and improve the signals your nerves are sending. Next up on our list, we've got our antioxidant shield, berries. Think of these delicious little things as your personal team of cellular bodyguards, protecting your brain and your body from a kind of damage we call oxidative stress. What's so great about berries is that they give you all these amazing protective antioxidants without a giant sugar bomb. This means they're protecting your brain cells while that high-fiber content gives you nice, stable, lasting energy, which is a huge deal when you're trying to avoid the fatigue that comes from those awful blood sugar spikes and crashes. Okay, so we've talked about cooling the fire. Now let's level up our strategy and focus on actively protecting the wires. We're talking about giving your nervous system the specific nutrients it needs to stay strong and resilient. Now, I know this one might be a bit of a surprise for some people, but hang with me. Grass-fed beef liver is often called nature's multivitamin, and for really, really good reason. It is, without a doubt, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the entire planet.
So why is it so powerful for MS? Well, it's absolutely loaded with B vitamins, especially B12, which is critical for keeping that myelin sheath, that protective coating on your nerves, healthy. It also gives you heme iron, which is the easiest type for your body to absorb, helping you directly fight that deep, profound fatigue that's so common with MS.
All right, another nutrient-dense champion is something you probably already have in your fridge, the humble egg. But we're talking specifically about pasture-raised eggs. Think of these as a complete brain-building toolkit, all wrapped up in a neat little shell. And listen, that term, pasture-raised, it really, really matters. Why? Because get this, these eggs can have 3 to 5 times more of crucial nutrients like vitamin D and those essential fatty acids compared to conventional eggs. That is a massive nutritional upgrade. One of the superstar nutrients in here is choline. Your body uses choline to make neurotransmitters. The chemical messengers your brain cells use to talk to each other.
So this directly supports your cognitive function. And on top of that, you get high-quality protein to help maintain muscle mass, which is so important. Okay, for our final group of power foods, we are going to a place that science is showing is unbelievably important for autoimmune conditions: your gut. You might have even heard it called your second brain.
The key players in this arena are fermented foods. Think things like sauerkraut or kimchi, and garlic. What these foods do is they work directly on the community of bacteria living in your gut, and that community has a massive influence on your immune system.
So how does this connection actually work? Well, it's like a powerful chain reaction. You eat probiotics from fermented foods and the allicin from garlic, and that helps strengthen the barrier of your gut. A stronger gut barrier helps to calm down your immune system, and a calmer immune system means less inflammation all over your body. It's a direct line from your gut to feeling better.
Okay, so we've looked at olive oil, salmon, berries, liver, eggs, garlic, a lot of different foods. But what's the big picture here? Let's kind of zoom out for a second and look at the simple ideas that tie all of these foods together.
You start to see a pattern, right? The power is in how simple this is. These are all whole, real, unprocessed foods. They tend to be low in the starchy, sugary carbs that can drive inflammation. They're rich in healthy, natural fats. And most importantly, when you start adding these foods in, you naturally push out the processed junk.
And that brings us to what might be the most important strategy of all. It's about the swap. The real magic happens when you don't just add the good stuff, but you use it to replace the not-so-good stuff. Swap out the packaged, processed foods for whole foods. Swap out those inflammatory industrial seed oils for beautiful olive oil. And trade those sugary, starchy snacks for the nutrient-dense options we've been talking about.
So look, this is not about a perfect, stressful diet overhaul overnight. Not at all. It's about taking one small, positive step. So looking at everything we've talked about, what is just one food you feel like you could add to your plate this week? That's it. That's how real lasting change happens. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.